Hey petrolheads, today I want to tell you about my experience of owning this car for approximately 1.5 years. It is a 2013 Jeep Grand Cherokee and it has a mileage around 230,000 kilometers. And first of all, I want to answer one very important question. Why did I buy this car? And there is only one reason to do it, as I see it. It is its engine, 5.7 HEMI V8. It is my first and only American car from more than 20 cars that I owned. And I see the only reason to buy an American car when it has a V8. My previous SUV was a 2010 Range Rover with also a naturally aspirated V8 engine. And so it would be a nice comparison, but to be honest, I would say to you that when I just bought this car, I was extremely disappointed after selling my Range Rover. Prices for such cars nowadays starts from around $7,000 in okay condition. Even in good one you can find one of those, depending on the market of course, so it's quite an affordable option for an SUV. But what you get for it? It should be at least a proper off-roader, because it has a full-time four-wheel drive system. Also, it has a quite nice clearance, and in this car basically you had an air suspension. Unfortunately, this air suspension wasn't reliable at all, and in my car the previous owner removed it and replaced with a standard one. So now it's kind of a basic. And let's be honest, with these 20-inch rims you cannot do anything on off-road. You need an 18 or 17-inch wheel with very high tires to do anything on off-road, especially with this sand and desert. I must say that I really like how this car looks. Its exterior is okay and maybe even nice. And also, this car was in production for almost 12 years and it looks quite actual, because this car is 2013, but this generation you could buy in 2020 with almost the same exterior. Why I was so dissatisfied with this car after the Range Rover is just because it is not that comfortable, and for SUV, for a family car, it is quite important as I see it. And also, it doesn't have a feeling of a well-made product. Every material in this car is much worse than in Range Rover, from paint to the interior. And of course, it is obvious that Range Rover is better, it's much more expensive car being new. However, you just have this feeling after you change the car. With approximately the same mileage, Range Rover interior was in excellent condition, almost excellent okay. But here it was absolutely ruined. I restored it, I put seat covers, the custom made. Of course, you don't want to spend hell a lot of money on such an old car, because you would never get these investments back. But still, you had a feeling of very worn out car. But I think it would be better to show you one example. So, here is my door, and its trim just fell off on 3 out of 4 doors, and you cannot order it anywhere. They are just not available. The only thing you can order is some Chinese shit with something like a carbon fiber. This door is also after the upholstery, as well as all doors. Let me show you the whole interior, how it looks after this, with the seat covers and upholstery on doors. It's of course up to you to decide. I like green colors, maybe it's quite controversial thing, but okay, I like it, and for sure it is much better than it was before. I will try to find some photos to show you how it looked before. Also, let me show you how this car is resistant to sun, and it is not resistant at all. This is how your dashboard looked without the cover. So it's ruined. Also, you can say that about all plastic exterior details. They are just worn out and you cannot do nothing with it. But it's usually a problem of all cars, at least almost all cars here in Emirates. We have really hot summer. However, talking about advantages, or at least lack of disadvantages, this car is quite spacious and comfortable inside. I cannot fit in when the front seat is regulated for me, but as you can see, I'm quite a big guy. But any normal person would be absolutely okay there. As for the trunk, I would say that it's absolutely enough for this car. It's electronic, but extremely slow. Also, I would say that you have a full-size spare wheel here, so it's not that deep. But just have a look how long it would close. So 1, 2, 3. I push the button. It's still sinking. Now it's closing. Still closing. Closing. Now it's closed. It's about 10 seconds. You waste hell a lot of time on closing your trunk. But also you have an option to open and close it manually and fast. Like this, you just open the window. It is very convenient on a tight parking. So that's an option. But I would say, in case of comfort, this car is quite okay. I mean, the spacious interior, also enough trunk space. So it's practical. And that is how I accepted this car. It is not great, but it's okay. I mean, it's a daily SUV. You cannot blame it for being not that good, not that expensive in materials. It's just an ordinary SUV. So let's have a ride. By the way, talking about options, this car has quite a strange package. You have cooling and heated seats. Cooling seats is a rare version, not an Emirates, but still. Also, you have an air suspension. You had an air suspension if we're talking about 10 years old car. They are usually all with removed air suspension in this age because it is extremely hard and extremely expensive to repair, more expensive than hard. But you don't have, for example, adaptive cruise control or any other such features. You have some kind of a screen there, but it's useless, of course, today, and that's it. You have a lower gear for an off-road with 20 inches wheels. Very strange package. At least all these screens, dials and buttons are much better quality than, for example, in Toyota. I made a full review of Toyota Land Cruiser Prado, and there it was just extremely bad. They were just... you didn't want to touch these buttons. Here the quality of materials is not close to German brand, and also it is not resistant. But let's say they are acceptable. But also let's keep in mind that Toyota of the same age would cost you approximately 2 or 2.5 or even 3 times more. What can I say about this car, talking about driving experience? As well, it is acceptable, because you have enough power, absolutely enough, there is no problem with that. It is accelerating quite well. It is a family SUV, but you expect a little bit more from a V8 5.7 HEMI engine. You expect it to be a little bit crazy. This car, talking about competitors, for example, accelerates approximately in the same time from 0 to 100 km per hour as Volkswagen Touareg with V6. And with V8 Touareg would be a beast, real beast. I once drove this car and it was extremely good. So here you have enough power. Also, it is good in handling. However, there is one thing I want to tell you about. Have a look at this smooth test, because I have never felt anything like that and any instability driving this car, and I'm not a very calm driver, to be honest. And also it feels better in handling than, for example, Range Rover 2010. But that was a surprise for me when I saw this failure in the Moose test. So keep that in mind if you decide to buy one of those. The fuel efficiency, it is quite okay, I would say. It is even surprisingly okay. It consumes about 17 liters per 100 kilometers. I think that you cannot expect more from a V8 old engine, and it shuts off half of the cylinders if you don't need them. So if you are going on the highway, the consumption would be something around 11 liters per 100 kilometers, which is quite good and better than I expected. Maybe the only good thing and the thing that is better than I expected in this car. What else can I tell you about this car? Probably it would be interesting to know what was broken in this 1.5 year and over 20,000 kilometers that I drove. So basically there was of course some maintenance, some brake pads and all that, but what was broken was an alternator and also almost the whole cooling system. It was a headache, but I would say that for this age it's absolutely normal, and it's more about the luck of the owner, but not about the car reliability. On any car, these parts can be broken in 10 years and more than 200,000 kilometers. To sum up, I would say that this generation of Jeep Grand Cherokee is quite an average SUV. You shouldn't expect too much from it, and then it's a balanced car, and for sure it was a good option for the first-time buyer, and now they're extremely popular. You can have a lot of options on any market. Just don't expect anything from 5.7, maybe 3.6 would be enough. This Pentastar engine is not that reliable, but it's absolutely okay for 300,000 kilometers. So if you will find a car with a lower mileage that I have, then 3.6 can be absolutely enough. And talking about figures of acceleration, you would have almost the same, like you get 1 second lower acceleration with this 5.7, but more fuel consumption. So if you think about this car, then maybe think about the standard 3.6. Are there any better alternatives to this car? Yes, of course, and this is Volkswagen Touareg of the second generation. I have a video about this car, and it is better really in everything than this car. It is also very balanced, maybe a little bit more boring than this car, but it's really, really good. So choosing now just the standard daily SUV, I would for sure go for Touareg, even with V6 engine instead of this car. But what else do we have as an alternative to it? Of course, all premium German cars wouldn't be as reliable as even this car, and Touareg for sure. As for Japanese, what do we have there? Some Highlander or something like that. Talking about full-size SUVs, they would usually have dead batteries. So what else? Toyota Land Cruiser Prado would cost you 2 or 3 times more, as we discussed before. So maybe that's the second option after Volkswagen Touareg. Volvo XC90 with a digital engine of course could be an alternative, but it's too outdated nowadays. If you're okay with this design, then probably yes, but it's reliable, but it is a car from the early 2000s. And would you like to drive it? Of course, it's up to you. But that's, of course, an alternative as a family SUV that is suitable for everyday life without any CVTs, any bad transmissions and bad engines. And what alternatives to this car do you see on the secondary market? Please write in comments, because I don't see any other of them. So please press the like button if you enjoyed watching this video, it supports channel a lot, and subscribe for more. We have a lot of useful information on this channel. Thank you and see you soon, or right now if you click one of these 2 videos. I hope you will enjoy them as well.